All right, guys. I think I'm live. Let's see. Let me. Sorry about that. Anyways, let's see. I'm just checking a couple of things here. Anyways, guys, it's been a long time. Hope y'all have been doing well. Hope life's going good. Hope y'all ready for the holidays. Uh, been thinking about the past today for some sort of reason. I'm thinking back to 18 years ago today, December the 19th, 2004. I was a senior in high school, and it came a really, really big snowstorm that day back home up in Roan Mountain. Uh, we get quite a bit of snow up there, actually. Elevation's really high. You go just across the state line, there's a couple of ski slopes over in North Carolina. Um, it's one thing I truly miss about back home is how much snow we get during the winters. I remember back then I drove a 1985 Camaro, had the T-tops, uh, straight drive. Unfortunately, it was only a V6 though, the kind of shitty 2.8 liter. But I don't know, nothing really big happened that day. It was a Sunday, but for some reason I've thought about that day all day, and I remember it really well. For some reason, I don't know why. Sometimes I just remember strange things like that. But like I said, it's been a while. It's probably been about 3 or 4 weeks since I last did a stream. I don't really expect a lot of you guys, a lot of people to show up tonight. To be honest, I seen that. I seen Fashcroft is doing a stream, and I don't know. Maybe people's watching Millennial, or I don't know. You know, but that's fine. This ain't this ain't some sort of popularity contest. I know here lately I've been worked to death. I've been working 60, 65 hours a week, and I'm fucking tired of it. I'm ready for my job to go back to normal after the holidays. But anyways, tonight tonight we're going to talk a little bit about health. Hey, how you doing, Rick Smith? Good Yule. There's TDT. Merry Christmas, TDT. Good to see you. Josh ACS. Glad you can make it. Conspiracy Concepts. Hell yeah. Glad to see you's here. Um, let's see. Tonight we're going to talk about, the title of this stream is For Your Health. And I'm going to talk a little bit about health, a little bit about fitness, diet. I don't want to bore you guys too much with that sort of thing, but then we're going to talk about some suburban hate stories that I've gathered over, I guess, about 2 years that we've lived here. And then I'm going to talk about what I have came to see as being possibly the highest virtue in this sort of thing that we are in. And it may come as a surprise to some people. And we'll talk about whatever else. But first things first, you got to forgive me. I'm going to shill a couple of things here. Hey, how you doing, Finn Wraith? Hope you're doing well, man. Good to see you. I'm going to shill a couple of things real quickly here, and to give you a story, a little background story. Let me see here. Shit. Give me just a second. God damn it. Okay, there we go. All right. A little while back, I had to start a new Telegram channel. And I imagine most of you watching this, you're probably subbed to my Telegram channel. But I'll put the link in the chat anyway. There's the link. It should show up in a second. t.me/Vamic Vril 7_62x39. It's a new channel I started called Sonos Syndicate. Vamic, as in the Holy Vame, the German secret society that did a lot of vigilante justice in the Middle Ages. Vril, because I think it's a cool word, and I like alliteration. You know, when consonants match. 6.5 by 39 is better, possibly. I don't know. I view the AK-47 as probably the most aesthetically pleasing weapon that man has ever crafted. And then, 7_62x39, because I love the AK, as I said. How you doing, Der Master 812? Good to see you 14 miles to the right. But a little quick story. I had to start a new Telegram channel because my Southern Nordic channel ended up getting the Apple and Android ban. A bunch of bullshit. But there's a little bit of information I'm going to give you here. It got banned back in September. And what happened? Now, I can't prove this. I'm not accusing anyone. Because really, I have no fucking way of proving it. But the timing of it is really suspicious. At that time, this was around the time I had my friend Pox Populi on a stream. Gave him an interview. And shortly before that, there was... Pox Populi is a pretty popular guy, and he knows some of those NRX types, these neo-reactionaries. And there was a mamzer. I think his name was Cringe Walker. He showed up actually on the stream. We just got rid of him, but he's a mamzer. He's like a quarter Jewish, eighth Jewish, something like that. He was, according to some of those, the guy that was, and I mean, this guy's like, I guess, an upstanding member in this NRX community. I don't know, but I'd never heard of him. And, he's just going around causing trouble and everything. But I made a post in my Telegram chat, my personal one, and I had just reposted what someone had taken a screenshot where this guy had said, he's a quarter Jewish and everything. And in my own chat, I just posted, dude, this NRX shit is fucking gay. It's really stupid. And I mean, they let mamzers into their clique, which I don't know, man. Neo-reactionary. I think a lot of them are Catholic. They are, I think they're monarchists, a lot of them. I don't know. This is a faction, one of the many factions of the DR. And I think they follow Mencius Molebug or whatever the fuck that Jew's name is. I mean, it's just, I don't know. But someone that was in my group posted it to their small channel. And shortly thereafter, my Southern Nordic channel got banned. So I just started a new one, And I can't prove that it's any of these NRX guys. Don't really care. I mean, it's just a channel. Channel ain't big or anything like that. Just start a new one. But I think it just goes to show, a lot of people in these circles will think that Antifa flags everything, which I'm not discounting this. I'm sure that they do. But a lot of times, the people that will flag your shit are people who share some of your values, or your values are relatively congruent. This is just the unfortunate nature of things. And so I imagine, can't prove it, but I imagine it was someone associated with them. Not that I care, though. I mean, I see it as just, a form of snitching, you could say, but whatever. If you're willing to snitch on the internet, what's stopping you from snitching in real life? Anyways, I don't mean to go too far off of that. That's my new channel. So yeah, I was going to talk tonight about some health things. How you doing, Austin? Not my mold bug. Yeah. Actually, let me shield this too. I apologize, guys. We'll get started here in a second. I broke down and made a Twitter account like a retard. And I really don't use it. The only reason I made one is so that I can. There's a couple of people that I'm only able to get in contact with on Twitter, and I want to maintain contact with these people. Fuck, I ain't gonna waste time. Let me see. God damn it. How you doing, Slow Burn? Good to see you, man. So no 7. I can't find the link at the moment. I'm not going to sit here and bore y'all, making you wait. As I am a boomer, after all, technologically speaking. All right. That's my Twitter handle. Sorry I couldn't find the link, but if you're on Twitter, follow me if you want to. You don't have to. Like I said, I just ain't got a lot of time for all this fucking different. I like Telegram. I like Jittergram. That's what I enjoy. How you doing, Sean? Good to see you, man. But anyways, I digress. I'm going to talk about health tonight a little bit. I'm going to talk about some health advice. Try to give you a little health advice. And by no means, I don't claim to be some sort of, health expert, health guru, anything like that. But I guess over the past year, I've managed to put on a little muscle. I'm not a big guy. I'm about 5'9", and I weigh about 170 pounds. But I have gotten a lot stronger the last year, and I have had a few different people ask me what I do. And I don't want to bore you and go into all these specifics. And plus, I'll be honest, there's some exercises, some types of things that I do that I don't even know the fucking name for. I've heard people call different exercises different things sometimes. Now, and if I call something, that you've never heard of, I don't know. I've thought about, perhaps making workout videos, but I'll tell you the truth. I think that's kind of gay. Really, I'm not a big guy. I'm never going to be a big guy like sorry guys, my dog's barking in the background. I'm never going to be a big guy like Hammer or the Golden One or Blair Cottrell or, Crustacean Lamentation. He's a pretty big guy. I'm never going to be a big guy like that. But I just want to be strong. And, I enjoy going to the gym. Now, there's a couple of differing perspectives I'm going to try to give you. There's a channel that I'll give you a link to in the chat as well. A guy by the name of Johnny Groob on YouTube. See, my workout stuff, it's pretty conventional. I'll just be honest. I do all your typical stuff like, bench press, incline bench press, decline bench press, flies, where you get the dumbbells, works out the chest. A lot of conventional stuff. Nothing too exotic. Pull-ups. I'm a big fan of pull-ups. One thing that I will stress at the gym that I go to, they have this belt. And it goes around your waist, and it has a chain on it with a hook on the end. And what I do, I learned this. And see, you can learn a lot of things by going to the gym just by watching other people. I've learned several things that I never had seen done, tried them out, enjoyed it. It's worthwhile. And this is one of the most worthwhile things. See, pull-ups is one of my favorite things to do. Works your lats, your biceps, works your forearms, works your hand strength, Well, what I do is I get that belt on, loop it through the chain part. I get a 45-pound plate, and I hook it, and then I attach I link the chain together. So basically, you have a 45-pound weight, 45-pound plate hanging between your legs. get up there and I do pull ups. When I started doing this about 7 months ago, I could only bust out four, maybe five pull ups, but I loved it. It was great. Now, over the last several months, I can bust out about 12 of them. Doing pull ups without any weight hanging from me, I can do about 20 right now, 20, 21. So it just goes to show adding that resistance, really helps. Do tricep dips also with that 45-pound plate hanging between my legs. I also do, when you're doing these workouts too, you want to use different grips. You can do it with bench press. You can do closed grip, wide grip, normal grip. Whenever I do lat things, I don't know what you call it. There's a ton of different exercises I will do for your back and lats. Hold the barbell with different grips. You can hold your hands underhanded, overhanded. Just experiment with this, Anyways, I feel like I've bored you enough with this. I'll just tell you what my regimen is. I don't want to go into any specifics. You have to just always be pushing yourself, though. Do a little more weight, maybe a few more reps. You don't want to get stuck doing the same routine. But I break it up like this. I will work out every other day. I lift one day, work out, off a day, lift the next day. And I will do this for about anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks. And then I'll take 2 or 3 days off, take roughly a week off. You got to have your rest. That's important. It's integral. You can't overwork yourself. And what I do, though, is I do basically 2 muscle groups each workout. Now, there's a few exercises I will do every day. I do forearm curls every day that I work out. It's something you can do every day. I'll get like 95-pound, put 2 25-pound plates on a bar, hold it behind my back, just below my ass, basically, and I'll curl it. See, I want them Popeye forearms, man. I want them Popeye forearms. You get hand strength is very important. Growing up, I played baseball. Having strong wrists helps pitching. It helps hitting. I don't mean to go off on this tangent here, but I'm going to anyway. What I wanted to say is, if you've ever read the book Blood Meridian, and I know it's a work of fiction by Cormac McCarthy, but I think all of us, it is a work of fiction that is truly well worth your time to read. Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy. In it, the protagonist is a guy, he's a kid. They just call him the Kid. He's from Tennessee, and he ends up with the gang of scalp hunters and Judge Holden, which is the antagonist. And early in the book, it describes Judge Holden. He is immensely strong, almost 7 foot tall, but he has small hands, small feet. The Kid, on the other hand, is not really imposing. He's only about 14 or 15. But he has big hands, strong wrists, big forearms. And in this book, there is a strong racialist sort of message. In fact, it's been well over a year ago, I did a stream where I read some excerpts of Blood Meridian. The stream, I think, was the Sono Show, episode 8. It's called War is God. But there's a very deep, Cormac McCarthy, I think, was trying to tell us something. There's a part in the book where a Prussian Jew by the name of Speyer, he is the arms dealer who supplies the scalp hunters before they go into Mexico and go on their rampage, you could say. So, and I also remember there's a line in the book, too, that there's a hermit that the Kid meets, I think, in the first or second chapter, and he says something along the lines that there are 4 things wrong in this world. One of them is whiskey, money, whores, and niggers. So, there is a sort of, at times, blunt messaging about the differences in race. And then there's also some I would consider esoteric interpretations you could make too. Um, but anyways, what was I going to say? I didn't mean to get off on that tangent, but there's some meaning to that between the kid having these large hands and strong wrists compared to the judge who is immensely strong yet has small hands and small feet. So I don't know. I've not crafted an interpretation for that. But see, going back to the workout thing, like I said, I ramble. I ramble a lot. I'm going to be jumping around a lot. There's a reason I do this, but I'll tell you that later. 2 muscle groups. There are things that I do every day. I mentioned wrist curls. You can also get these 20-pound weights. I hold them in front of me. Turn. I do like 15 of them. It works your forearms. Now, I'm not interested in getting shredded fucking abs. I mean, really. I mean, I don't really give a fuck about abs. When I was a younger man, a single man, yeah, I cared about that shit. But having a strong core is more important, I believe. And I'm not interested in getting a 6-pack or what the fuck ever, you know. I mean, I'm happily engaged, so I don't really give a fuck about that. I just want to have a strong core. You can do abs every day. I just do a little bit, you know. Some days I may skip it. And the other thing I do is calf raises every day. But as far as the 4 days and 4 different workouts, I do chest and lats one day. Bench press, incline, decline, all my lats, pull downs, all these things. Then I do leg day and shoulders. I do squats, what do you call it? Quadricep extensions, hamstring curls, calf raises, you know. Solar Christ says compound strength exercises, MMA, conditioning, and ice baths. Excellent. Absolutely. But yes, you know, I don't want to go into all this and bore you. Shoulders, military press, flies, shoulder shrugs, you know, work the traps, different things. And let's see, third day, I will do biceps, triceps, a lot of different curls. I do my pull-ups with my 45-pound weight hanging between me. I also do a lot of pull-ups without it, different grips, tricep extensions. You know, I don't want to bore you with all the exercise names. And then the 4th day is kind of a miscellaneous day. I will do my leg press, do some shoulders, get a 45-pound plate. I don't know what you call this. Is it like some sort of back extension? But you hug the plate to your chest, and you're bending over and you're raising up. It works your glutes, your lower back. It's a very important thing. Do like 3 sets of 10 of them. Just a miscellaneous day, and then I'll just repeat until it's time for some days off. Usually my workouts will last anywhere between an hour to an hour and a half, just depending on how fucking crowded the gym is. Now that I've bored you with all of that, let me show you something here real quick. Quickly first, I don't like taking more than 2 weeks off. Yeah, don't forget cardio, and that's something I need to fucking work on. I always have hated running. The only time I've ever liked running is if I'm running from something or running to catch something. Long distance running, I think, is fucking gay. Like people that run like half marathons and marathons, fuck that shit. If you know, something's after me and I've been running for about a mile, I'm probably fucked. I will just go ahead and say it. I would probably be fucked. I'm not interested in running long ass distances. I just don't fucking care for it. At least a marathon. But it is integral. You know, cardio is very integral. The endurance and the stamina. But a couple of weeks ago, I caught the flu. And like I said, I don't like taking more than 2 weeks off from lifting because after 2 weeks, I noticed that strength will When I get back into it, my bench press has dropped off a little bit. Stamina is not quite what it was. But I got the flu 2 weeks ago tomorrow. And it laid me up. It kicked my ass. And I don't get sick often. In fact, on that Tuesday, it was my only day off that week. I woke up about 9:30 a.m. The night before, on a Monday, I drank a couple of beers. I woke up that morning and I felt off. I had a headache. And I'm like, what the fuck? I can't be fucking hungover from 2 fucking beers. I don't drink often. You don't want to drink often. Stay the fuck away from IPAs. Stay the fuck away from them. It's best to probably not ever drink anyway. But occasionally I do enjoy a beer once in a while. Maybe a shot of whiskey. But IPAs have a lot of things that induce estrogen production. And you see all these, bug men, these normie bug men. They're like, ooh, what IPA are you drinking, bro? Stay the fuck. I think IPA tastes. I remember years ago when I was in college, IPAs became a big thing. I tried one and I'm like, dude, this tastes like fucking donkey piss. Fuck this shit. I'll stick to my bush or what the fuck ever. But these IPAs, fuck this shit. Anyways, I went to lift that morning. I got about halfway through it. I was dizzy, pouring the sweat, I was actually wearing this exact hoodie. And I remember I was doing those 45-pound plate back extensions, whatever. You'll have to forgive me. I don't know the proper term. But I did a couple of sets of those, and I felt like I was going to pass out. My head is killing me. I didn't know. I was like, are you fucking hungover? How the fuck are you hungover? Well, I came home, drug my ass here into the house, took my temperature, and I had a fucking fever of like 102.9. I was pretty fucking sick. I laid down. I was in bed the whole day. But what I did is I drank this. I've been drinking this for the last 3 months. I have to give my friend Ricky Vedas credit for introducing me to this. This is R.W. Knudsen, Knudsen. You'll have to forgive me. Looks like it is a Danish name. You'll have to forgive me. I've never heard it pronounced. But it is just tart cherry. It's tart cherry juice. And it's from concentrate. He recommended this to me because it helps you retain your gains, you could say. I'm going to take a swig of it right now. Anyway, I took about 2 weeks off probably about near the end of October. I drank a lot of this. I drank about 12 ounces of this a day. I drink roughly 12 ounces a day every day. I go through this shit like water. But it helps you retain strength. And there's studies that's been done. Let me read something here. There's a lot of antioxidants here in this stuff. It helps promote muscle recovery, and it fights inflammation. And I swear to you, and I mean, I'm not saying this lightly, I swear to you, I think this sort of thing has helped me retain strength. I know I went back, I took 2 weeks off, went back, did some bench press. My bench press was as high as it was, maxed out. No, it hadn't fell down. All other exercises. I can't recommend this enough. Tart cherry juice from concentrate. Try it out. You won't be disappointed. There's a lot of information. Just Google it. There's a lot of information. Bodybuilders use it. Endurance athletes. Very healthy. Daremaster says, my dad used to drink cherry and or cranberry juice quite a bit, nearly daily. That is very good. Orange juice is great too. Maybe he was onto something. Yes. Take some Trenbolone. How you doing, White Merchant Flower? I've never heard of Trenbolone, or however you pronounce that. I'm probably butchering it. Anyways, tell me what it is, white merchant flower, if you don't care. I'm interested. Um, let's see. For your health, do I have anything else here? Now we could talk a little bit about diet. You know, you've heard a lot of this stuff. Myself, I have never had problems with weight, with gaining weight. In fact, I've always had to kind of work my ass off to gain weight. And I eat what I like. I eat a lot of meat. Meat is critical. You can eat raw meat. You can eat, oh, fuck, it's a steroid. years ago, years ago, unfortunately, years ago, I did do a couple of cycles of steroids. This would have been back in like 2014. One of my buddies got some D-ball, some testosterone, had on cycle and off cycle. And what I will say is steroids, they do fucking work. They will put it on you quickly. But I don't recommend it at all because, you know, obviously the health risks and things. I only did like 2 cycles over a period, I think, of like maybe 6 months. Put it on me quick. I noticed gains. And it works. It absolutely works. But once you quit, you're inevitably going to fall. You're going to lose it. Yeah, exactly, white merchant flower. The problem is you got to stay on them. It's all artificial. It's all fucking fake. You're just you're deceiving yourself when you take these things. Sure, you are stronger. Sure, you are bigger. But once you quit, you're going to deflate like a fucking balloon. Don't fucking do it. I mean, I only did 2 cycles. It put it on me quick. But I mean, I'm bigger now than I was then, you know. It's not, it's just worthless. Don't give in to that temptation. You don't need that shit. You just don't need it. It's better to do something the right fucking way. Now, going back to diet, I hear some people recommending the keto diet. There's people that exactly 14 miles to the right, stay natural. It's better. How you doing, trucking guy? Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Hope you've been doing good. Meat is very important. Now, I hear a lot of people talking about raw meat, and I have ate some raw beef before. My good friend Swamp Bro, he made something called high meat. One of the worst things I've ever tried, but it's got benefits, they say. It's basically fermented liver. You know, you can do the raw thing. Steak, I always get my steak medium rare. Rare. I like it bloody. I will never eat raw chicken or raw pork. Fuck that. You don't want that shit. I mean, just the idea of eating raw. I mean, the idea of eating raw chicken just kind of turns me off anyway. Raw liver isn't too bad. Raw milk. If you can get raw milk, raw cheese. I've got a hold of some good raw Asiago cheese. I've got a few wheels of it. I managed to acquire. Trucking guy says I have some high meat in the fridge. Awesome. I believe that is the correct term. My friend told me. And what was I going to say? I'm glad someone knows. Maverick says salmonella. Yes, that is something. You know, I've heard some people say that this raw meat and everything raw craze is just to induce salmonella. It's not something I partake in very often. Very often at all. But yeah, I'm like you, trucking guy. He says that I tried raw steak but prefer rare. Yes, I prefer rare too. I just think it tastes better. Got to get your fruit and vegetables. I eat bread. I eat pasta. I like chicken Alfredo. I like spaghetti. I know a lot of people talk, but that shouldn't be your staple, of course. I think the food pyramid is inverted. It's, a thing. I believe that they are correct when they say that, we consume too much grain and whatnot. But I do eat some. My diet is pretty conventional. I see something I like, I eat it. I've never had weight problems. I probably never will have weight problems. My family are obesity doesn't run in my family. Most of us, my dad, he's 6 foot tall, weighs about, I think he weighs about 170 pounds. My younger brother is 6'1", 6'2". He weighs about 200. I got fucked over though. I'm like my dad's dad. He was short. Ryan 218 says grains are for livestock. You are not wrong about that. You're not wrong about that. But I do like carbs because I have a high metabolism, like I've said. I have a high metabolism. Carbs gives you energy. Let's see. Made venison jerky today. Fuck yeah, dude. Good job, White Merchant Flowers. That's outstanding. Trucking guy says our ancestors ate a lot of fermented foods and meat during the winter. In the spring, we ate fresh fruit and whatever we grew. Absolutely. David Smith, grass is for livestock. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Anyways, is there anything else about health? I feel like I've bored you guys enough. Let's see, we'll be going for 36 minutes. I don't know how long we're going to go tonight. I'm kind of tired myself. Um, let's see. I do not think obesity actually runs in anyone's. Let me show these. Obese people have obese children. That is true. I believe that is true. A lot of people dump things off on genetics, I think, to make people feel better about things. You look in the old days, not a lot of obese people. Not a lot of obese people. Sugar and caffeine comments. I like caffeine myself. I don't drink coffee. I do drink Red Bull sometimes, not often. Sugar, I eat sugar. You know, I do. I eat what I like. I've never had a problem with weight. I know back during now, like I talked on, like I said earlier, I'm not some sort of expert on health. I mean, I used to be a fucking drug addict for crying out loud. Used to be a meth head. Used to be a pill head. Most of my 20s, into my early 30s. Back then, my diet was shit, especially during the years of meth, because I just ate what I could. And a lot of times I didn't fucking eat at all. Having good parents is genetic. That is one good thing. My parents are pretty healthy. My dad especially. I've cut out pop soda for you probably. We call it pop too here in Appalachia. Last couple of months, but still too much sugar. I will drink a soda sometimes. I know it ain't good for you sometimes, and I mean where I'm on the road a lot, I have to eat fast food sometimes. It's just, do I take any supplements? No, I do not. I used to take creatine back when I was in college. Creatine does help. Maybe I should take some, but it's been a long time. I don't take any supplements. The only thing I really take is this cherry juice. I don't take any vitamins. I just eat apples, oranges, fruit. Um, yeah, processed Josh ACS. Let me post what he's got to say. Processed foods are the body's enemy. That's the difference in the old days and now. It's one reason why obesity runs so rampant today. Absolutely. You are correct about that. I like getting your guys' input. I love getting your guys' input here, White Merchant Flour. I got to post this one. The meth and ramen noodle diet. Yeah, meth, ramen noodle diet, bologna sandwich, Chef Boyardee ravioli. Rough times, man. Rough times. So yeah, I don't claim to be some sort of health expert. I just know what works for me, and we're all different. We're all different. Some people, my buddy Yonder, he's on the keto diet. A couple of other guys I talk to, they're on the keto diet, carnivore diet. And I do admire that, because I believe meat is fucking important. Gotta have your meat. Big Red. Oh man, Are you talking about the soda Maverick, Big Red? Because I actually know what Big Red is, even though I'm from Appalachia. If you were talking about the soda, you could be talking about the chewing gum, but there's a soda that I believe is popular up in Indiana. It's called Big Red, and I hate that shit. My fiance's family has some family up in Indiana, and they bring it down when they come to visit. Yep, it's fucking. Hey man, if you like it, hey, you like it, you like it. I think it tastes awful myself. Have any of y'all ever had Doctor Enough? Have you ever had Doctor Enough, Maverick? It's bottled up in Johnson City, Tennessee. It's actually got a fair amount of vitamins in it. Niacin, I think, which is niacin B12 or B6, I can't recall. Dude, it's great. Hey man, if you like it, like I said, I think it tastes just off. Josh, I know you know what Doctor Enough is. I do enjoy the Doctor Enough. B6. Appreciate that conspiracy concepts. Niacin is B6. There's also a few other vitamins in it. Yes, sir. I knew I knew a few of you guys knew what Doctor Enough is. It's hard to describe. You pour it in a glass, you think it's 7 Up, but it tastes a billion times better than anything. It's kind of hard to describe. Anyways, I wanted to give you a channel recommendation too. Give me just a second here to pull it up right quick. A guy by the name of Johnny Groob, and I've posted a couple of his videos on my Telegram channel. He's an interesting guy, a very interesting guy. I'm going to post the link to his channel in the chat. Give me just a second. He runs a website. I think it's called Wildman Fitness or Wildman Training. I'm not sure, but I just watch his YouTube videos. And he has a very interesting fitness perspective. Oh, shit. Cut the fuck off now. Where am I? Boomer Tech. Can't find my shit. Can't find my shit. Give me just a second here. Okay, there we go. Wrong fucking screen. Wrong fucking screen. Here is the link to Johnny Groob's YouTube channel. And what he does, he is 54 years old. And he is from New Jersey originally, but he lives up in, I believe, Pennsylvania now. He believes in blue collar fitness. I just talked about going to the gym and all this shit. He did that up in his 20s, 30s, perhaps into his early 40s. Now, he doesn't go to a fucking gym. I don't think he's went to a gym in maybe 10, 15 years. I'd have to look back on it. But what he does is blue collar fitness. And he also makes videos talking about society, talking about how weak men are. He gives you some harsh truth, man. He doesn't pussyfoot around with things. And he makes some really interesting observations. And he doesn't like the gym because he said he did that when he was in his 20s. He did it when he was in his 30s, powerlifting. And he said after a while, he just realized he was always broken down feeling. Which, I mean, if you're pushing yourself that hard for that long, your body's going to have some fucking problems. But what he does now is blue collar fitness. He does something called step ups. Pretty simple exercise. I do them on my miscellaneous days that I lift. I get a 60-pound bar, have it resting on my shoulders. I get a 20-inch box. I do 10 one leg, just step up, both feet, step back down. Really simple. I know one of my buddies, we were talking about this a few months ago, and he kind of spoke in a mocking tone of it. And I was like, dude, fucking try you some step ups. They work. I do 10 one leg, 10 the other leg, do 5 sets of 10 each. He's a big proponent of that. He does a lot of farmer carries. He trains outside in the fucking cold, in the heat. And he mocks people that go to the gym. And that's one thing I should add too, that I want to stress here is you don't have to necessarily go to a fucking gym to be strong. In fact, dude, I'm going to tell you the truth. A lot of the people I see in the gym, and some of them are much bigger than me, but I can't help it. I look at them, I watch their mannerisms, I watch how they interact with people. And I can't help it. I think they're probably fucking bitch made. I think they're bitch made. I don't care how goddamn big they are. They've never had to go through any sort of adversity in life. And, these are the people that Johnny Groob loves to mock. It's pretty hilarious. But I highly recommend y'all check out that channel. That's like I mentioned my friend Swamp Bro earlier. He never goes to a gym, but he is extremely physically fit. He's always doing push-ups, doing some running. I like to do sprints mainly when I run. I don't care for just long distance, but I probably need to work on that. There's always things that you need to work on. But what you need to remember, whichever route you go, I guess, on your fitness journey, if you're not growing, if you're not pushing yourself, you've got to push yourself. You got to change things up sometimes because plateauing out, people plateau sometimes. A plateau is when you have been doing the same sort of routine for a period of time, and ping pong is surprisingly aerobic. Hell yeah, it is, man. You play like I do, and you knock the ball all over the fucking room. I ain't played ping pong in years. Anyways, I didn't mean to get sidetracked there. What I wanted to say is, if you ain't growing, if you aren't pushing yourself, you're stagnating. And stagnation leads to deterioration. It's just inevitable. It's the law of nature, you could say. And you've got to be disciplined. There are a lot of days I will be out driving, working, be out there 9, 10, 11, sometimes here lately 12 hours. And I just make myself do it. And once I get in there, it's like half the battle's over with. Keep pushing yourself. It's kind of enjoyable. And like I said a second ago, you ain't necessarily got to go to a fucking gym. You can do push-ups, you can do pull-ups. Dude, if you got a job doing manual labor, back when I was in the years of meth, I worked as a block mason, laying block. I worked, and dude, that was a great job for physical fitness. I loved it. You got to twist up a bowl and have a ping pong table. You will lose weight. Facts. Oh, man. Yeah. Dude, doing manual labor, it's a good way. That's what Johnny Groob talks about. It's great. White merchant flour is on the Jenny Crank diet. Hey, man, it's a way to lose weight, I reckon. Hell, I believe it's in Italy. There is a pharmaceutical grade of methamphetamine that is called desoxin, I believe. You can only get it, I think, in Italy. It's illegal here in the United States. It's illegal in most Western nations, but it's in a pill form. And they subscribe it or prescribe it for extreme obesity, which, anyways, that was just a random factoid. I don't encourage drug abuse. I know I joke around about it sometimes on my streams, but I don't encourage it at all, obviously. Anyways, I believe this will conclude the For Your Health part. Give me just a moment. I'll be right back. I got to piss like a racehorse. Give me just about 30 seconds. Oh, shit. Hello. Let's see. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Let's see what the chat's got to say. Tricky Woo, how you doing, bro? Pushing a 3-inch brush and a 9-inch. Hey, man, painting's a workout. Let's see. What about fasting? I don't do fasting. I don't do fasting, honestly. Some days I will eat quite a bit. There's some days where I just may eat a meal or two. But as far as fasting for days and days, it's not something I incorporate. I've heard people talk good things about it. I'm not saying that it's I'm certainly not saying, it's a bad thing. It's just something that I really don't do all that often. Well, never really. I've never went on a fast for like 2 or 3 days. Tricky Woo says gives the body organs, etc., a break, gives them a chance to recuperate. I could see that. I'm not really knowledgeable about it, to be honest. So, um, let's see. Finn Wraith says one way to do cardio if one lives. Oh yes, yes. I know I live in Appalachia, Southern Appalachia, but growing up, I always loved ice hockey. Um, we would play it on rollerblades sometime. Uh, I know to start out, my dad he cut a couple of hickory sticks, fashioned them into like little hockey sticks for us when we were kids. I used to love it when I was a child, which of course it doesn't. Which during the winter, sometimes in some ponds, it got cold enough to where it would freeze well enough for you to skate. I actually learned how to skate when I was in high school when I worked at one of those ski resorts that I mentioned earlier. But I'd love to play hockey. It would be I'd be so fun. Anyways, next part of this stream. Let me get a drink here. I've mentioned before, I've made videos talking about the suburbs. And I think that the suburbs are a large reason why our people, at least here in America, are in the state that they're in. And I was raised in a very rural part of Appalachia. And in 2018, me and my fiance, we moved down here. She got a job down here. And she basically gave me the ultimatum. We'd been together for many years, but she's like, you've got to, get your shit together. Because I mean, like I said, I think it was from January 2016 to October of 2018. I went through what I call the years of meth. During this time, I lost a lot of things. I lost a really good job that I had. I ended up fucking let's see, the last year up there in Rome Mountain, my house, I lived there without power. I didn't have a vehicle. Anywhere I wanted to go, I pretty much walked. Uh, got into robbery, got into thieving, did basically what I had to do to survive, you could say. And it's an unfortunate thing that my story is not really all that unique. We are all well and aware that there is a drug pandemic targeted especially at our people. I mean, you look at the Sackler family, promotion of Oxycontin. You look at the peel mills that was opened up down in Broward County, Florida, back in the late aughts and the early 2010s when I had cousins that would go down there and I'd send them with hundreds of dollars and they'd bring me back a bottle of Oxycontin and I would sell it, snort it. But we moved, like I said, we moved down here in October of 2018. I realized that I was going to end up in prison, most likely, possibly dead. One of the two. Hi there. Nah, this stuff isn't about to make me lose everything in life. Not me. Loses everything. Yeah, I mean, I learned very quickly. See, I sold marijuana for years. I sold pills. I mean, that's something I regret to say. But when I started doing meth, I realized about a month or two in that this was nothing, it was like nothing else that I'd ever been a part of. And I mean, just the people that I would associate with, uh, just some of the situations I found myself in, I quickly learned, that this is a different fucking animal. Anyways, we moved down here to Southeast Tennessee, October of 2018. I got cleaned up. I got my life turned around over a period of about a year and a half. Took me some time, and let's see, it was in June of 2020. We managed to get this house here that we live in now. We're in a neighborhood, live in a neighborhood up on a hill, and this area is kind of rural, but it's a neighborhood. It's not like a cookie cutter subdivision where all the houses are the same. We've got about an acre of land here. Most of it's actually in the woods. But I still consider it, a suburb, I guess you could say. Now, over time, came to realize I want to go back to the holler. I'm not going to get back into the drugs and all that shit. Part of my education when I moved down here is I started learning things. I learned about the Sacklers. I learned about, fentanyl. Learned about open borders. A lot of the methamphetamine, the crystal meth that I used to obtain, distribute on occasion, but largely use, came from Mexico, most likely. Open borders, bring the shit across the border. But coming to the suburbs, I've made observations over time. And I think the suburbs are a huge reason why our people are in the condition that they are in. Everyone, you know, in these circles, people think, they picture the 1950s, the white picket fence, all these things as peak Aryan culture. I believe this is false. I believe this is a falsehood. As I've said before, the 50s were just our fleeting reward for killing all of our own in Europe during World War II. And we've seen everything that's happened decade by decade since then. And I have grown very disgusted with a lot of the people that live in this neighborhood. It's a fairly decent sized neighborhood. I don't know how many streets they are. Now, don't get me wrong. It's a decent neighborhood. You're not going to have to worry about, your cars ending up on your car ending up on cinder blocks. There is a little thievery. There's been cases I've heard of people breaking into cars. But the suburbs are a fucking facade, in my opinion. I've got two neighbors. My next door neighbor lives here, and then one of my neighbors across the street, across the road. I like them quite a bit. They are genuinely nice people. But there is a lady that just lives there's a Serbian family that lives a couple of houses down. I like them. I know our dogs love them. Like if he's out there working on his house, our dogs like Bo and Loki absolutely love this Serbian family. The old man. I'm not saying there's exceptions to this. I don't mean to belittle everyone that lives in a suburb. But if you really, and then there's a lady a couple of houses down who has chickens. That's who we get our eggs from. We don't have to buy them at a store. We get them straight from her. She keeps them. She's probably got about an acre of land. She's got a big backyard. It's partially wooded. That's where we get our eggs from. We don't buy them from a store. And I mean, it's obvious. There's a difference between the eggs that you purchase that are just mass produced by domestic chickens and then compared to free range chickens. Anyways, what I wanted to point out in a couple of little stories I got for you. If you want to see the white suburbanite at its fucking worst, this little neighborhood here, there is a Facebook group. And my fucking God, I hate these motherfuckers that are on this group. I'm not a part of it. Fiance's not a part of it. Her mother is a part of it, though, even though she lives 3.5 hours back home. We've never joined it, but I mean, we're able to see what's posted on there. These people are so fucking out of touch with goddamn reality. It is not. It's fucking astounding. And these people, they're so catty to each other. They are so they bicker about things just back and forth. They're rude to each other. They're so goddamn fucking fake. Two of these motherfuckers, two people can be going at it on Facebook. The next day, one of them's going to be walking their dog or whatever down the street. They'll run into that guy. Oh, hey, how you doing, John? Oh, I'm doing great. Doing great, Bill. Just yesterday, they're going on about things on arguing with each other on Facebook. Dude, it's a fucking goddamn facade. I have grown by and large to absolutely detest the white suburbanite. And there was a little thing that happened. It was about Halloween. It was right before Halloween. Excuse me, guys. Right about Halloween. I think Halloween was on a Monday this year, if I remember correctly. And there was a guy. Let's see, Daremeister 812. I live in a rural area, 50 acres. Very impressive. And we have a similar group for our road. My wife ended up leaving it. Exactly. You understand this. It's this sort of infection creeps into fucking rural areas too. Facebook is just fuck. I'll be honest. I about hate Facebook. I do have one, unfortunately, but I just use it. I post fishing pictures or hiking pictures. I never speak about anything political at all on it. I just have it basically to keep track of some of my cousins and family back home. Gradually, you began to hate them, yes. But going back to this little story, and I mean, I see it. We walk our dogs all around this neighborhood. And I have only had words with a couple of people. And I'm not going to get into that right now. I know Pat and my friend Yonder, we were doing a VC on Telegram. And they heard me go off on one of my neighbors across the street one of these days. I don't want to get into it right now. I'm not going to talk about that. But one day there will be, well, you can imagine. Anyways, there was a guy on there, just this guy, and he in that Facebook group just asked. He just asked a relevant question, at least in my opinion. It was a few days before Halloween. I believe it was on a Monday, like I said. And he asked, hey guys, are y'all going to do trick or treating in this neighborhood Saturday night or Monday night? Which Monday night was, I believe, the October 31st. I would consider this a relevant question. I mean, I guess, and they ended up doing it on Monday night. But there was this administrator in this group, this fucking goddamn, just effeminate looking, kind of fat, fucking dork. Probably about my age. And he ended up being the first response. And he did it in this, just sarcastic fucking, just oh my god! I mean, I don't know. This sort of thing shouldn't fucking bother me, but it pissed me and Miranda both off. Like we was like, dude, fuck this fucking dork. What he replied was, he's like, Reddit spacing, couple of lines down, in asterisks, in between asterisks, he writes, checks calendar. We're doing it on Monday night because that's Halloween night. And then like just a bunch of laughing emojis, like just kind of rude. And then everybody else just chimes in and starts just, dogpiling this guy for asking what I thought was a legitimate goddamn question. I mean, really, why? Halloween's on a fucking Monday. I know if I was a kid, I'd rather fucking stay up late and pig out on candy than have to go to goddamn school the fucking next day. And this guy wouldn't let this go. I just did some digging, you know. I found out where this guy lives. I know his name. I know where he works. He even has a YouTube channel. And he posts just gay ass shit. He just posts gay ass shit. Tell me you're unemployed without telling me you're unemployed with no kids. I'm not unemployed, but I don't have kids yet. Anyways, nothing wrong with being unemployed, I reckon. You can work under the table, draw welfare. But anyways, this guy has a YouTube channel. He's a huge Tennessee Titans fan. Just your sports ball. He loves Marvel, DC. He is a fucking dork. He's married. He's actually married. He's married to a fat whore of a wife. And they actually have a daughter that's probably about 9 or 10. This guy on his YouTube channel, he posts stuff about Tennessee Titans football, Tennessee Vols. Posts couple of videos of their fucking vacation to Disney on a Disney cruise. And I mean, I'm just like, dude, this guy is the epitome of what's wrong with a fucking white man. And you know, some people would call me, and perhaps Patrick, and some other guys, they call us anti-white. There is goddamn problems with the fucking white race. There's a lot of problems. And if you just want to ignore these problems, if you just want to portray white as the fucking victims all the time, it just reinforces the victimhood narrative. Now, of course, there's factors at play that we can't control. But you get down to brass tacks, there's a lot of fucking problems with our own. This guy's the typical bug man, exactly right, 14 miles to the right. I don't know how this guy has a fucking kid. I don't know how this guy's ever touched a titty in his life. But I mean, judging, and I mean, I don't know why. This just ran all fucking over me. It just ran all the fuck, just how, I don't mean, I guess it shouldn't bother me. People's mean on the internet all the fucking time. This poor guy that I just asked the question, he just ended up deleting it, you know. I mean, okay, I got you. I didn't think he was meaning me. Yeah, dude. Fuck this dork. And see, it's just such a facade. All these people, they act so friendly to each other, but they get on the internet and it's just passive aggressive fucking bullshit. I goddamn hate passive aggressive motherfuckers. I hate them. If someone has a problem with me, I'd rather them fucking call me out on it. Hell, get up in my face. You know? I hate catty, effeminate fucking behavior from men. And it is fucking rampant amongst white men today. By and large. There's exceptions, of course, but by and large, it's fucking disgusting. I hate the suburbs. I mean, everyone's, by and large, other than the few neighbors that I met, have mentioned earlier, it's just so fake, man. It's so fake. And there's been other things, other trends that I've seen in this Facebook group that I'm just like, man, all these people care about is their social status. And this is not a social status like back, hell, just decades ago, hundreds of years ago. It's all about how much money you make, how expensive a vacation you can take your family on. It's about sending your kid to a prestigious private school where your kid will probably be indoctrinated. Kid might turn into a faggot or a tranny. You know, it's about having a new Tesla in your driveway, contributing to saving the planet. Even though there's tons of rare earth metals, all the pollution that comes from making a Tesla. It's all about showing off on Facebook. It's all about it's just so goddamn vapid. It's just about keeping up with the Joneses. I don't give two fucking shits about the goddamn Joneses. You know, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about any of that. If that's all these people do. The rat race. These people are what they would call strivers. They're always striving, jockeying for position in this artificial, decadent, and disgusting hierarchy. This is why I don't use social media. I agree, Maverick. I agree, man. Absolutely. It is a cancer. I mean, it's got the women out of fucking control. It's got the, hey, how you doing, Space Hopper Mark? How you doing, bro? Good to see you. Yes, Facebook, by and large, is poison. Dude, you look at all these women, all these young girls. I mean, it's got women off the fucking chain, you could say. Dude, e-thoughts, all these fucking things, man. You know, social media it's like a drug. Truly, it's like a drug. But yeah, I absolutely hate the suburbs. If and when, and I fucking hope it's soon, if and when we have a child, I'll be honest with you, I want to move back home. I want them to grow up in the holler. I don't want them to grow up down here in this goddamn suburb. Because I think it will make them soft. Now, we're all a bit softer than our ancestors. This is what civilization does, unfortunately. Let's see. I want to put this on the screen. Private schools reinforce the idea that running and hiding from our problems is a viable solution. Absolutely. And I mean, that's what the suburbs really are. You know, in that video I made a few months back called The Environmental Trichotomy, I talked about rural, suburban, and urban whites. Now, we do have a problem with the urban bugmen, and there are rural bugmen, unfortunately. There really is. I went to high school with some of them, some of the dorks. These people don't have children, ain't got a girlfriend. They play video games all the time, consume. You know, there are rural bugmen too. Urban people, though, urban whites. Of course, there's a lot of urban bugmen. But then there is what I admire, though, what I want around me is people that's had adversity, that's had to struggle with things. And some of these whites that had to grow up in these rough neighborhoods are superior. They are absolutely superior to anyone that grew up in an all-white suburb. Now, let's see. Hey, how you doing, Sig? It's good to see you, man. I wanted to say earlier. I seen you had left a comment earlier. You were talking to Didymus. You were saying that you had been doing some charity work. That's good, man. It's good. It's a good time of year to do that. That's outstanding. But he also mentions here, rural America is kind of fake and gay. Is becoming kind of fake and gay. That is true, man. That is unfortunately correct. The suburbs are affected by drugs somewhat. Dude, a lot of times the stories that you hear about these white people overdosing on drugs and whatnot, suburban kids, they're off in college, they want to get high or do something, end up fucking overdosing. But the suburbs are largely affected by just this culture of consumerism, of keeping up with the Joneses, of getting a career, of, just fucking. And dude, that's one reason why a lot of our race ain't reproducing. Unfortunately, not always, but young girls are attracted, young ladies, they want adventure. And this is a really good stream that my friends Pat, Thomas, and a guy his name was Incel Maddox. He's got a channel. here on YouTube. I'd never heard of them, but it was a really good stream. And a lot of these young girls and girls in college are attracted to more of the criminal element, the people that like to party more, just kind of raise hell. While a lot of these guys that are in the suburbs, they go off to college, they live the straight edge life, they go get a 9 to 5 job in an office. A lot of these guys don't end up, if they even settle down at all, if they ever find a woman, they're not getting women until they're up in their late 20s or early 30s, because these women are throwing themselves at these more, how do I put it, more adventurous type men. And that's another problem. You know, where that blue, yo, it's so sad and sick on the dope whore question. But you know, rural America is being decimated by drugs. I mean, I'm a living testament to this. Also, even here in rural Appalachia, they are trying to push the homosexual agenda in here. Dude, I would consider this part of Southeast Tennessee in the Tennessee River Valley where I live currently. I'd consider it to be maybe extreme southern Appalachia. Dude, the other morning, I stopped at a Bojangles, get me a chicken biscuit on my way to work down in Georgia. Dude, there were 2 goddamn trannies working in the restaurant. One took my fucking money. Had to pay them. A fucking tranny. This is down in northwest Georgia. Pat has told me up in Pikeville, Kentucky, they had gay pride parades. This shit is being pushed in by NGOs, of course. There's various NGOs. I'm going to do a deep dive one day on some of the NGOs that have been pushing this sort of degenerate filth into Appalachia. And there are many of them. A big one here in East Tennessee is the Highlander Folk School. The Highlander Folk School was started in the 1930s. And it was, to put it bluntly, it was a communist training school up in Monteagle, Tennessee, which Monteagle is, I think it's about, I've never been there personally, but it is about an hour northwest of here. It's in Grundy County, Tennessee. Like I said, it was started in the 30s. It was based on these socialist schools that popped up in Denmark back during the 30s. The Highlander Folk School is still around today. In fact, my neighbor, the older lady that lives next door to us, that I really like, she is an author. She used to be a school teacher. She wrote a book. Me and her had an interesting conversation about 5 months ago, and I didn't know this about her. We got to talking about what is going wrong with America. And it was a very revealing conversation. Now, she's conservative, you could say. She's an author. But she wrote this book talking about, and a big part of this book is about the Highlander Folk School. She did, even though she's conservative, I told her that we got to talking. We talked for about 30 minutes just out here in the yard. And I said, well, you know, I'll just go ahead and tell you, I'm pretty far right. And she's like, oh, well, she didn't act disturbed about it. She doesn't act any differently to me, which I'll be honest, I just kind of threw that in there. Anymore nowadays, I consider myself to be just about beyond left and right. You know, the typical left right wing paradigm is, I don't know, man. I get tired of all these labels. But she let me borrow that book. And there is there's several chapters on this Highlander Folk School. That lesbian fucking mule, Eleanor Roosevelt, traveled down here to Monteagle, Tennessee on several occasions to visit the Highlander Folk School. This is one of the big pushers in East Tennessee of a lot of homo fucking agenda. And each state of Appalachia has some of these NGOs. There's one called Hood to Holler up in eastern Kentucky. There is some black politician that runs it. I think his name's Charles Booker. Bring the hood to your holler. There's Concerned Appalachians, which is this faggoty ass. They put rainbow flag billboards up, and it says "Y'all means all," pushing your homo agenda. And I mean, there's more. I'm not going to go through them all here, but yes, you are absolutely correct. Solar Christ. Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks both attended the Highlander Folk School. My neighbor, she did extensive research. She even went up there and went through their archives a couple of times. The third time, they fucking kicked her out. They ran her off. She ain't allowed on the campus of the Highlander Folk School up there. And if I remember correctly, don't hold me to this, but I think the Highlander Folk School started a fucking branch up in Newport, Tennessee, closer up to where I'm from, in Cocke County, Tennessee. I'd like to see how that will go, because Newport is a very fucking wild place. But hopefully, what I fear is that the heritage Appalachians, who have lived here for decades and decades, I fear that their fight is going to be zapped from them, from opiates, from fentanyl, from the globo homo propaganda. Let's see. I moved to Nashville from North Carolina a few weeks ago and was happy to see Confederate flags everywhere. Huh, that's interesting. That's cool. Hey, how you doing, Sam? Is that? Let me get a drink here. Anyways, that's my biggest fear. Anyways, I hate the suburbs. A lot of based folks in Nashville. That's hell yeah. I've got a friend up there that lives north of Nashville. I've been to his house once. Really good dude. His family are in. They race show horses. Hope that guy's doing well. I actually need to text him. I need to talk to him. It's been a few weeks since I last spoke to him, so appreciate you for reminding me about that, Solar Christ. Let's see. We've been going for an hour and 22 minutes, Just to wrap up the suburbs part, man, if you really just want to see the white suburbanite at its worst, just look at some of these Facebook groups that are in some of these neighborhoods, even in some rural areas like Der Meister mentioned earlier. I mean, it's just fucking astounding. Like I said, I don't want to raise my children here. I want my kids to grow up in the holler. I want them to be able to see their grandparents every day, nearly every day. I want them to grow up, even though this neighborhood here is a decent neighborhood, it's mainly white. Can't help it. I just see a lot of these people as being fucking fake. And they're just soft. They're just bitch made. The suburb, by and large. Now, of course, there's exceptions. I'm not trying to denigrate and lump everybody that lives in a suburb in this category. But by and large, it's a big problem. It's made us soft. And it will continue to do so. Let's see. Give me some cherry juice here. On to the last part of this stream. And this is what I see as this is what I have come to see as maybe one of the highest virtues of this thing that we're in. Lesbian mom swingers and pill popping pup play federal employees. Yeah, man, it's so fucked. It's really fucked. Here lately, when I've had time, and I ain't had much time here lately, Something I've always been interested in talking about on this channel is the history of white nationalism, of American white nationalism. And we could extend that to, the other countries of our people's lands. Um, and I've talked before too. I've read quite extensively on the years of lead in Italy and Operation Gladio. Now, here lately, I've been talking a lot to my friend Billy Bob. Billy Bob's a good feller. I really enjoy talking to him, and he has taught me a lot of things. He has a very deep knowledge of the movement, as Pat calls it. And I've been reading a lot, preparing for a stream that I got invited on that we're going to record later this week. And it's about these various groups in the history of American white nationalism. And there's some familiar names to some of you. A guy by the name of Bill White or William White. I have mentioned him a couple of times on videos. Bill White is in prison today, but he wrote some outstanding essays on informants. He's in prison still today for some bullshit, trumped up charges. I've been reading about Matt Hale and the World Church of the Creator. I've been reading about Ben Klassen. Is it Klassen or Klassen? Pronunciation ain't my strong suit. I've also been reading a lot about some of these less popular names. Have any of y'all ever heard of a guy named David Gledy? These people were involved in the National Socialist Movement, the NSM as they call it. And Bill White is locked up today because of informants. Bill White made a lot of mistakes. He didn't make things easy on himself. I've learned a lot more about Bill White's history. Like I said, been reading about him and Matt Hale. And the NSM was quite apparently a sort of FBI front organization. And man, I have been reading about a lot of things. I've been talking about a lot of things with my friend. And God damn is all I want to say sometimes. There are informants potentially everywhere in this goddamn thing. I ain't here trying to stir distrust and discontent. But man, some of the shit that I've read, I really have little faith in movementarianism, what you would call movementarianism, in organized public-facing groups, unless they are rooted in self-improvement. That's kind of why I'm partial to the active clubs. I'm partial to them. But I mean, even then, goddamn, some of the shit that I've read the last 3 days in my spare time, I'm just like, what the fuck? And then adding this to some of the things that I learned about the years of lead and Operation Gladio in Italy. The same model has been used by intelligence agencies. It's been used by investigative agencies for fucking decades. And one unfortunate thing is that in white nationalism, there is sometimes, not always, and I mean, this is just about society in general. Hal Turner, goddamn, fuck Hal Turner. Goddamn, fuck Hal Turner. Fuck that guy. That's another guy I've been reading quite a bit about. You see, sometimes I feel like I'm a moth. And see, when I got into this November of 2019. I had no fucking idea. I mean, I was just so naive. I thought that this thing was just an organic group of guys concerned about their race, but there is so much goddamn more to it. Sometimes I feel like I'm a moth. I'm flying down a street. It's nighttime. And there are street lights. There's fucking glow ups everywhere, just trying to draw a moth in to its orbit, to where that moth is just beating its head against the hot light. I feel like a moth sometimes. And some of the things that I've read, I'm just like astounded by. You know, over time, Sig, you are exactly right. This is why I've always tried hard to stand alone and avoid these types like the plague. Yes, that's true. Um, you know, I honestly, I mean, yeah, siege. Honestly, I have more of the siege mindset. Honestly, can't help it. After reading some of the things that I've read and then hearing stories from people who have been around in this thing a lot longer than me, siege gets a bad name in these circles by certain people. They, you know, call people siege tars or whatever. But I mean, and yeah, siege sometimes is a sensationalist type book, but there's a lot of relevant information in that book, whether these people want to admit it or not. Can't deny it. Anyways, I'm just astounded sometimes. But what I've learned just from the years of lead and from this, there's a lot of different virtues. And at first, yeah, exactly. I'm going to put this on the screen where everyone can see this by Sig. At first, you're totally green and have no eye for the subtleties of that kind of stuff. That's true. Now, one of the sad things is there is a lack of character. Unfortunately, there's a lack of character in broader society, but it affects these circles too. That's why people are not so strong on their convictions. That's why you see, I believe, a lot of informants, things of that nature. It's hard to determine which some people, I believe, are injected into this thing that we're in by agencies of some sort. And then there's some people that come in with pure intentions. They may get hemmed up, they get scared, they end up becoming a snitch, an informant. Now, what I've came to see, Solar Christ, look at the outlaw MC clubs for a good blueprint for weeding out rats. It's not perfect, but it's effective. Yes, that is true. Me and my friend was actually talking the other night, and we got to talking about the Hell's Angels. And you'll have to forgive me. I am not very well versed on the history of the Hell's Angels, but he was telling me that the Hell's Angels were able to sort of hold their own against the RICO statutes that the government had set up. The RICO statutes really tore up the Italian mafia. But the Hell's Angels, according to him, however it is that they were organized or whatever, they were able to hold their own and avoid a lot of the pitfalls of RICO. Now, I will have to look into this for myself. I'm just relaying what he told me. He said there was an interesting book written by I guess he was one of the leaders of the Hell's Angels. I believe his name was Sonny Barger. I'll have to look that up and perhaps try to get a hold of that book. But over time, I know I go off on all these tangents. I don't have any fucking notes here. I'm just speaking what comes to mind. But what I was going to say is over time, what I have come to see is the biggest, what I consider the most important virtue in these circles is to be uncontrollable. I want to be uncontrollable. And we have seen this, I believe, in real life. I mean, just in the last year. You read a lot about Operation Gladio, and there's a lot of, God damn, get your fucking porn off my fucking chat, you motherfucker. God damn, get your fucking heart. Fuck you. Get the goddamn fuck off here, motherfucker. Fucking faggot. Anyways, what I was going to say was, there's glow ups everywhere. And there's some of these more violent groups potentially, like, I mean, Hal Turner, for instance, he fucking encouraged violence left and right. Um, that motherfucker's in prison today. See, if you end up being a snitch, I've stressed this 1,000 times. If you end up being a snitch, you're going to get fucked. You're either going to end up in a ditch or in a cell. If you end up in a cell, sooner or later they're going to fucking feed you to someone you fucked over, and you're going to die. You're going to get shanked. You're going to get fucking killed. But over time, I've come to see what I think is the highest virtue is I want to be uncontrollable. I want to be autonomous. And I've mentioned this before. You look at the conflict in Ukraine, the Azov Battalion, Russia. And I'm not trying to talk shit about I really don't have a dog in this fucking race. This is in Europe. This is in Eastern Europe. A lot of people have been fixated on this subject the last year. Azov Battalion, I think, is admirable. But you have to wonder, and Pat has mentioned this before, if they are truly like a sort of National Socialist type group, if they are not controlled by some sort of outsiders, why did they never get rid of Zelensky? They're controlled. Their leader is a fucking Jew. Some people will say they're being strategic, taking the money. Are they controlled or not? And unfortunately, I think in these circles, there are people that are controlled, obviously. Perhaps they're controlled by some sort of strange right-wing think tank, or fuck if I know, dude. I really don't know. But I think, what I would like to see is, Azov to bite the hand that fucking feeds, bite the hand that feeds. And learning a lot about Operation Gladio, you see that there were certain figures, prominent figures, who were most likely controlled and answered to, say, the CIA or these NATO or whatever. But over time, I want to be fucking uncontrollable. And I think that's what we should kind of strive for. How do you become uncontrollable? Well, you try to insulate yourself. Try to become somewhat autonomous. I don't want to fucking, and I'm not going to fucking answer to any goddamn body except my own fucking morality. That is the only thing that I want to answer to. That's what I've came to see as one of the highest virtues. And you see, talking about morality, I've said this before. Our people need to fashion their own sort of morality. Our morality is so fucked right now. Western civilization's morality is just fucked. The white race's morality, by and large, is fucked up. It's completely messed up. Our morality has been subverted and perverted. We are much more concerned about the other. Our morality needs to be transvaluated. We need transvaluation. Hey, how you doing, Mutiny? How you doing, dude? Hope you're doing good, man. Our morality needs to become more focused on ourselves instead of the other. And my morality may not be exactly the same as many of your guys' morality. You know, may not be quite the same. As I've mentioned before, I used to be a thief and a criminal. So I enjoyed, during the years of meth, I even got to a point where I enjoyed robbery and thieving almost as much as the methamphetamine that I consumed. And I'm not a person, I do not hold any faith in our legal system. I detest our legal system. I detest authority in general. A lot of people in this side of things will, it seems unfortunately that they will worship authority for authority's sake. I think this is folly, as I've stressed before. Um, you know, I just want to be uncontrollable, man. You got to try to be autonomous. You got to be cunning. Just got to be smart. You got to be around good people. I've managed over the last couple of years, I feel like I've managed to put together a decent little network. I wouldn't call this a group. It's not a public facing group, anything like that. I can't help it. I think networks are superior. A loose network is largely superior to an organized group with a membership list. And I've managed to in online, and then I've managed to meet a few people in real life. Some of them have come here and stayed with me and my fiance. I've traveled, a few hours to go to their houses. Colton Malstein, what does he say? Robert J. Matthews is one of the greatest men that lived in the past century. Rockwell was awesome and taught us that voting is a delusional, false, and parrot. Yeah, dude. Oh man, I've got a hold of a very good book about the order. I'm gonna do a stream about them sometime here in the future. It was a book written by a guy named Frank De Silva. I'm gonna read it, of course. It'll probably might be a couple of months away. May have to do that stream on Odyssey, to be honest. I don't know. I'll just have to look at the material. But yes, Bob Matthews was a great man. He was a man that had flaws, as we all fucking do. We all have flaws. But as far as commitment to the cause, I mean, the order, they put it all on the line. And see, a lot of these prominent right wing groups, speaking about them, a lot of these prominent even white nationalist names, not all of them, but there were some prominent ones who said that the order, whenever Matthews was killed on December the 8th, 1984, they said that he was nothing but a fucking common criminal, a common fucking criminal that got what he had coming to him. Fuck these goddamn people. These are the fucking fakes. These are the people that ain't interested in solutions. Man, sometimes I wonder, like in this thing that we're in, a lot of people just talk about current events and, oh, woe is me, we're so fucked. It's just a negative feedback loop. It gets people into this negative feedback loop, always worried, always fearful, always just consuming. Consume, react, repeat. Consume, react, repeat. And let's see, did you ever catch Pastor Pete Peters' interview concerning the order? No, I haven't. I have not. If you're on Telegram, I think you're on Twitter there, Master. I think we are friends on Twitter. If you have a link to that or whatever, a PDF, whatever, please send it to me. I think me and you are friends on Twitter. I can't remember, though. I think we are, unless there's another Dare Master. But, I want solutions. Now, I'm not encouraging people to go do anything violent, Even there were a few leaders like Mason, like Pierce, and like Metzger. These three guys, they knew the reality of the situation. Let's see, I'll try to find it. It was scrubbed on YouTube. God, I wish I was around back then before that, you know, before all this scrubbing. You see, all this information is being scrubbed from the internet. You know, it's important to try to archive these things. Um, archive.org, which is a pretty good website, but they'll still delete your shit if they think it's a little too controversial and it gets too popular. Yeah, if you would send that to me, Dare Master, absolutely. Common crooks normally go after Brinks trucks, national parks, power stations. The order supposedly did. No, they were not common crooks. They were not common crooks. Back when during the years of meth, I was just a common crook. Rip off drug dealers. Whatever. What they did was, I mean, I can't help it. I admire it. I just admire it. You know, they were committed. They were trying. But they got sold down the fucking river by people like Pastor Dan Gayman, fucking Fraser Glenn Miller. Holy fucking shit. That's a name I meant to mention earlier. Fraser Glenn Miller. My friend sent me the fucking papers. I've got his fucking papers on this laptop. His papers from the fucking FBI. From him snitching. He snitched on the order. You know, I mean, and I don't want to reveal too much about this, you know. I don't want to reveal much about this because me and my friend were going to do, he invited me on to his stream. And we're going to talk about it, I guess, later this week. But, you know, it's fucking mind blowing, man. Unfortunately, and this is an unfortunate fact that a lot of people on this side don't want to acknowledge, and Pat has pointed this out 1,000 times. National Socialism, fascism, and white nationalism have been utilized as tools for intelligence agencies. It's unfucking deniable, and it's unfortunate. You know, I'm not trying to sow discord or distrust, you know. But I mean, really, when you look into the history of it, it is murky, and it's not what you think it is. And I'm not denigrating. I love Metzger. I like Pierce. I like Mason, Rockwell. But you know, just it's really wild. That's all I'm gonna say. Goon March Miller and Colonel Bo Grits, yeah. How you doing, Saxo? You doing good, man? Hope you're having a good holiday so far. Hope you're ready for Christmas. Hope you're ready for Yule, I should say. But yeah, over time, I've come to see that the idea of being uncontrollable, you know, if you have a group or whatever, for it to be uncontrollable, a network. Anyways, guys, shit, we've been going for an hour and 48. I hope I haven't wasted y'all's time. I didn't expect a lot of people to be here tonight, which I'm fine with that. This ain't no goddamn popularity contest. I don't fucking care about garnering a big following or anything like that. I know I ramble a lot. I also meant to tell you in that last video, I mentioned early in the last video I posted among my tribe that I ramble a lot. And there's a comment. Let me see if I can pull this comment up. It's from my first Nordstream that I did. I guess it's been a couple of months ago now. Let me see if I can pull this comment up. It's a good one. It's a real good one. Give me just a moment here. All right. Scrolling down. God damn it, where's that fucking comment at? Okay, here it is. Z, lowercase z, 63615 some account that I have never spoken to. In the first Nordstream, I did it like this stream. I don't have any notes prepared. I just ramble. And in that stream, I made it abundantly clear that this was kind of a shit post stream. This is just me talking about 3 long years. And he left a comment and he said, "You have nothing prepared for almost 2 hours of listening with 3 question marks. Thanks for letting us know up front." I didn't respond to this. I thought about it, but I don't really care, But hey, at least I'm honest, man. I'm not going to sit here, "Hey, man, I don't have anything prepared." You can listen. You don't have to. But you see, I ramble a lot because over time I'm starting to think that the only people I want around are the people that are willing to be patient, you could say. If you really want to hear any nuggets of wisdom, if I have any, to be honest, I don't know, maybe I don't have any, but I'm just going to start like putting up roadblocks, you could say. I got rid of this guy. He's like, "Well, thanks for letting us know up front." Of course, man. I ain't about wasting your time, and I'll be frank, you're probably not the kind of person I want on my channel anyway. I don't want a lot of these fucking, I don't give a fuck about popularity. And I ramble because I like to tell stories. I like to describe things. I may not be organized when I do these Nordstreams, but hey, man, this ain't no professional. I ain't no fucking Keith Woods here. I don't wear me a turtleneck and look like a twink or whatever. Look like a dork. The Sono show, that's where the serious streams are. That's where the serious things are. This is just shit posting, thoughts, personal things. Anyways, guys, we've been going for an hour and 52. I really didn't intend on going this long. Priest of Baal says, "Be ungovernable." Yes, be ungovernable. Be ungovernable. What was I going to say? Let me see here. Get that off my screen. Closing remarks. Oh, maybe I can grab my phone and fucking read it. Maybe I can access it easier that way. God damn it. Fuck, I don't know where it's at. Anyways, be ungovernable. Yo, time to post gay music shit on Telegram. Be there in 5. Hell yeah. I'd rather you did ramble. It comes off as genuine. There's a time for well-polished speeches, but here, rambling is good. Yeah, man, I'm not really a public speaker, man. Honestly, I'm not a good orator, to tell you the truth. Honestly, I think I'm a much better writer than I am an orator. But yeah, man, authenticity, that's the other highest virtue. Perhaps, maybe that's even higher than becoming ungovernable. I don't know. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I think they should be, Barry McCain. How you doing, Mr. McCain? I hope you're having a good Yule. Merry Christmas. Interesting conversation. Be ungovernable, good, and along with that, be smart and plan. Yes, lately I've been reading some about, I've mentioned before that I've always been kind of interested in national anarchism. And I have been reading a little bit of Bakunin and Proudhon, just a little bit in my spare time, what little spare time I've had lately. And I don't consider, I find anarchism to be kind of interesting. And of course, I don't agree with everything that these guys say. But I do think that there is a period of chaos coming. Things will come to push and shove. And that if you are fake and ungovernable, you'll be a weirdo. Interesting observation. I like that high there. Hell yeah. Well, anyways, I don't know. I've just been reading a lot about that. And, I think things will come to push and shove, eventually. I don't know when. Um, but I do find some of the things that these anarchists like uh, Bakunin and Pierre Joseph Proudhon said, I think some of the things they said are relevant. They're interesting. Give me just a minute. I'm going to pull this up on Telegram. Uh, Something I wrote the other day on my channels. A lot of you probably seen it. All right, it's a post I made it was last week. It said, and this is me speaking, in general, I find litigation to be an inherently Jewish practice. I do not like lawyers, lawmen, or any sort of legalese. I have no reverence for this synthetic and detestable construct. Natural law is supreme. Legis barbarorum, which was barbarian law, was superior to Roman law. However, I long for the day when natural law will be the only law. Out of this unnatural order and hierarchy we labor under today, these egalitarian falsehoods, held before us as a creation of the most divine, will be smashed into oblivion. From this chaos, a new and natural order will eventually rise. I refuse to be governed by these laws of our land. Our people, in order to survive, must form their own morality, inconsiderate and unencumbered by the morality prescribed to us today by this unnatural hierarchy. To close out, I leave you with a quote from Pierre Joseph Proudhon. He speaks here. Laws, we know what they are and what they are worth. They are spider webs for the rich and mighty, steel chains for the poor and weak, fishing nets in the hands of government. And this is more true than ever. And to close this stream out, I want to read you just one last thing from the Heritage Appalachia channel on Telegram that me and my friends run, me and my crew. Since winter solstice will be here in 2 days on December the 21st, there's a post here I made, and it's got a picture of Elk River Falls frozen. We used to swim here and do a little base jumping when I was a teenager. I grew up about 6 miles from there. But anyways, I wish I could show you the okay, actually I can. Let me see if I can. God damn it. I want to try to show you this picture because it is outstanding. It is beautiful. Let's see. Share screen. Window. Share. Can y'all see this picture by chance? Anyways, fuck it. I don't know if you can see it. I hope you can because it's a beautiful picture. As I said, I'm going to talk about the winter. Hail the coming winter. The harsh winters of Appalachia have shaped our people here. Even going back to ancient Germanic and Celtic Europe, the winter has shaped our race, weeding out the weak and forcing our ancestors to become more resilient and intelligent. Adversity has always built the greatest of strengths. God damn it, what just happened? Oh man, I'm fucking things up left and right. Really great. Adversity has always built the greatest of strength. We owe this sacred season the greatest of debts. Picture is of Elk River Falls in Avery County, North Carolina, near the Tennessee-North Carolina line. Observe the beauty of the extreme, hail, holy winter. I don't know if you could even see that. Apologize. Oh, it was good. Okay, y'all could see it. Anyway, guys, I hope you all have a Merry Christmas, a Happy Yule, good Yule. I hope y'all are able to spend it with your families. And you know, I've got a lot of plans. I've got some interesting guests lined up. I'm going to talk to the Woodlander, me and Pat, and I think I'm going to try to get my friend Hans also in on it. We're going to talk about the winter situation over there in Europe. And we're also going to talk about English history. We're going to talk about the Norman conquest of England. I've been reading some interesting things in my spare time. You know, I have a tiny bit of Norman blood, but it's not, the Normans are a people that I'm not proud of them, to tell you the truth. They were nefarious. They fucked up England. They were greedy. The Normans, which of course were largely Danish and I believe Norwegian Vikings who settled Normandy, within just a generation or two, they abandoned their pagan faith and viewed it with scorn and contempt. They adopted Christianity and, invaded England. And they also set events in motion over almost 1,000 years ago that are, they set the table for what's happening today. I'm not a fan of the Normans, to tell you the truth, even though they were a conquering people. They did a lot of things that helped sail our race down the river, you could say. I'm also going to talk to Blackbird 9. He has a podcast on Speak Free Radio. I've wanted to talk to him for a long time. Finally going to make time to do so. And there's also a couple of older names in American white nationalism that I'm going to try to get a hold of. And maybe we could get them on. But we'll go back to making videos when my job goes back to normal. Honestly, I feel like I do much better in that medium than I do streaming, to tell you the truth. It's just easier for me to talk to the camera. You know, I'm a little more organized. Anyways, got a lot of plans. I hope y'all have a Merry Christmas, Happy Yule. I want to thank y'all for stopping by. The few of you that weren't bored out of your fucking mind with my rambling, my disjointed rambling. And be with your family. Love your own. Take care of your own. Keep your head up. Take care of yourself. Look out for number one. Look out for yourself. And I hope y'all have a good evening. Thank y'all for stopping by. And I will see y'all here soon. Bye-bye.